Now, for those of you that have been asking me, how will the Italian government protect your family in case anything happen to you here in Italy? You know, in life, anything can happen to anybody. Anything can happen to you as a man or as a woman. Yes, the Italian government, they have a package they use to support the people that you left behind, whether your wife, your children, or your husband or your children. As a worker here in Italy, you know, as you work, you pay tax every month. So some of these tax, the government don't just throw it away. Is like your contribution that you are making to the Italian government. So if anything happened to you, it is from this contribution the government will be using to support your wife or support your children. And so before I explain how it actually work, I will also beg those of you that will just do just a traditional marriage. You go to Nigeria, go to Africa, just do traditional marriage. You know, the government here, they don't recognize traditional marriage. So I will advise you, if it is possible for you to do at least common marriage, which they respect. In case anything happen to you as a man, all these tax that you have been paying will just go like that. They will not take it to support your wife, because they will tell you that you are not married, because they don't recognize traditional marriage. So it is good for you to go and do communal marriage, so that they will recognize your husband or recognize your wife in case anything happens. So that those tax that you have been paying to the government, that money will not just waste like that. How do they protect your family? It is called pensione reversibilità. How does this pensione reversibilità, how does it actually work? Now, you must also qualify for it. The government said, okay, you as a person, as a man or as a woman, you must have worked for about 15 years. You must have paid contribution for about 15 years here in Italy. So if anything happened to you as a man, your wife will be qualified and your children will be qualified for this payment. Or if you say, okay, you have not been able to work for 15 years, you should have worked for at least 5 years, and within that 5 years, the last 3 years must be, maybe you are still working, you must still be working for the last 3 years before something that happened to you, before you passed on the so your family will also be qualified for this type of financial support. So if you have a wife that you are legally married to, she can be getting up to about 60% of your pension. So even if you have not gotten to pension age before something happened to you, even if you are as young, you are 40 years, you are 30 years, and you have been able to meet this requirement, they'll start paying your wife or they'll start paying your husband about 60% of your pension. Then if you have a child, they'll add 20% to it. They'll be paying your wife or husband 80% of your pension. If you have more than if you have two children, then they will be paying your wife the 100% of your pension. Then you can also say, okay, maybe you don't also have a wife again, you just have one child, you are a single father or you are a single mother, they'll be paying that your child up to about 70% of your pension. If you have two children, they'll be paying them up to about 80% of your pension. Then if you have three children, they'll be paying them the 100% of your pension. So for children, there are three categories of children that they can pay some of this your pension to. The first, your child must not be up to 18 years underage. Yes, the child can be able to collect that money until that child becomes 18 years, then they will stop paying. Then if you still want them to start paying your child after 18 years, the child must be a dependent, that okay, before this thing happened to you, the child is not working, it's more than 18 years, the child is not working, the child is basically dependent on you. Then they can continue paying the child until that child gets to about 21 years. Then if you still want them to continue paying your child even after 21 years, that child must be a student. Maybe the child is going to school, is not working. They discover that the child is going to school, they can still continue the payment until that child clock 26 years before the payment will finally stop. Then for your wife or for your husband, it is for the lifetime. So whether you are 40 years old or you are 50 years old and you have met this requirement, you have worked for 15 years or you have worked for 5 years, and the last 3 years was when you were working before something happened to you, and your wife is still very young, so they will be paying your wife until your wife also passed on. So it's a lifetime pension that your wife will be receiving or your husband will be receiving. But the only condition is that your husband must not remarry or your wife must not remarry to somebody else. Immediately your wife get married to somebody else, they'll stop paying that pension. And two, the other thing that can also make them stop paying your wife this pension is that if her salary is more, if she's working and her salary is more than 22,000 euro in a year, then they could start reducing it. So I'll do a separate video that talks about how much a woman can be receiving or a man can be receiving in case you lost the husband or you lost the wife. So for those of you that have been complaining, the tax the Italian government are collecting from our salary is too much, is too much. At times, this salary can also benefit you tomorrow in case anything happen to you. So because some of us don't have some of us this understanding, will start complaining here and there and there. So some of this money, the government don't just eat it. They can also use it to assist your family tomorrow in case you are no more. So please just encourage me. Please encourage me by sharing this video or clicking on the follow button so that as the followers grow, I will be encouraged to do some of these videos. I beg you in the name of God, share this video, click on the like button, and put your question in the comment section, and I will try and see how I can answer those questions. Thank you, and God bless you.